Senator Rubio is doing a lot of work to get more Republican senators in the White House. Do you think the president's got a strong case? After all, unemployment is down, revenue is up. He feels Obamacare is popular. Do you think the president's got a strong case?
Well, let me tell you why I know he doesn't have a strong case. None of these candidates are campaigning with him. If, in fact, his policies were working out so well, they'd all want him to come into their states and campaign with him. And, in fact, they either don't want him to come, or when he comes to their states, they all out avoid him. Why aren't they campaigning on these things? Why aren't they bragging about Obamacare in their ads? Instead, they want their campaigns to be about all sorts of other issues.
Sure.
Look, here's the bottom line. This country is not doing as well as it should be doing. This new century, this should be an American century. This is a country right now that should be creating millions of jobs. We shouldn't have to be forcing companies to stay here in this country, and a lot of them are now leaving us because of our tax code and so forth. We're in a position where we are not fulfilling our potential as a nation or as a people. This should also be an American century. This 21st century is an exciting time. We are not taking full advantage of all of the opportunities of this new era, and a lot of that is because of flawed policies of big government that this president and his allies in the Senate have pursued.
Right, and you know, Senator, when the American people really are feeling it, despite what the president is saying, and you look at the poll results here, when asked, well, how do you feel about the president's job on the economy? You have over half, 55%, disapproving about what his policies have done to the economy. You know, and then you have over almost 60%, 59% in another poll here, dissatisfied with how things overall are going in the country.
Because for people, the economy is not the weekly reports from the Labor Department or how Wall Street closed today. Their economy is the fact that they're not making as much as they were 10 years ago. They've had to dip into their retirement savings. Their house is worth less than what they owe for it. Their kids went to college, owe a bunch of money, but can't find a job with a degree that they borrowed all this money to pay for. They're stuck in jobs that make $11, $10 an hour and have no way of making more money because either those jobs are not being created or they don't have a cost-effective way of acquiring the skills they need for a better paying job. And what this president and this White House offers are 20th century solutions, 19th century solutions that didn't even work well in the 19th and 20th century.
Sure.
They don't have any modern ideas for modern challenges or modern opportunities, and it's been exposed over the last few years.
Absolutely. Senator, yesterday, we were sick of Brian. We sent him out of town.
Right.
He wound
I didn't
up
know that was the reason. Is that true?
He wound up going down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He talked to former President George W. Bush, and he had this to say about his brother. Listen to this.
Yeah, I think he wants to be president. I think he'd be a great president. He understands what it's like to be president for not only the person running or serving, plus family. He's seen his dad, he's seen his brother. And so he's a very thoughtful man, and he's weighing his options.
Okay, so if Jeb Bush decides he's going to run for president, what does that do for Marco Rubio?
Well, I don't think Jeb Bush or anybody else, for that matter, would make up their minds based on who else is running, and I wouldn't either. You know, for me, the decision's never been about the title. It's been about where is the best place for me to further the agenda I believe we need to be furthering, an agenda that allows us to fulfill this nation's potential in the 21st century. Is it in the Senate? Is it running for president? I don't know the answer to that yet. It's something I'll have to think about. I imagine he's going through the same exact process right now.
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just know in the past you looked at, and I always sensed that he was a little bit of a mentor towards you, and you might have trouble running against him, where Paul Ryan said, if Mitt Romney's in, I'm out. And Mitt Romney says, if Jeb is in, I'm out. Does Marco Rubio have one of those if-and flow charts?
No, I have a lot of respect for Governor Bush. As you said, we have a long-term relationship. We're friends. We've never actually even talked about this topic. We talk about education and all sorts of other reforms. But the bottom line is, whatever decision I'll make will be on me and not on whoever else is running. But certainly he would be a very formidable candidate.
All right, very good. Marco Rubio joining us today from South Florida. We know you're busy out raising money for a bunch of candidates. Sir, thank you very much for joining us on this Friday.